Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're watching Greenwave TV, alternative media television, just kind of hanging out, thinking about what's next. I get a lot of talk, a lot of people ask me questions. Christopher, what do you see as the next, step, the next two steps? I even had one person ask me what I thought the next 10 steps are going to be for the federal government, what we should watch out for post Sandy Hook. Well, I guess to answer that question, first off, we don't even really need to look for anything else. All of the false flag events, all the terror, the government-propelled terrorism has already occurred. That's what Sandy Hook was. That was what the MK Ultra Batman massacre was in Aurora, Colorado. That's what September 11th was. Hence, they passed the Patriot Act, and with these other events, we've seen the tyranny continue. We've seen this propel from the Bush years, and we've seen Obama take over and really multiply that by 1,000. President Barack Obama, and it's amazing how many people I know personally that had never heard of the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, until I told them about it. And still, they didn't believe me. It took a good 6 months before these people, I guess, read it in the mainstream papers and decided that what I was saying was correct, even though I sent them the links and even though I sent them all the information, as I always do. So in terms of what we should look for next, I think the story and the game plan is the same game plan it's been since the very beginning. Now that President Barack Obama has set into motion the totalitarian police state, and that's exactly why he passed with executive order the NDAA, now that that's in motion, now they've got to play the fear card, which they've done with Sandy Hook, and they're going to continue to push that agenda as the threat of war looms here in the United States. Now, I would say that the war has already started. Now, we are, of course, seeing this in the Middle East. We're seeing this in Iran. We're seeing this in Syria. In fact, I was reading another report today talking about Israel considering a preemptive strike on Syria in the not-too-distant future. Whether or not that be chemical warfare or launching missiles, who really knows? But it doesn't really matter because war with this region and war with Syria and war with Iran has always been the agenda. Now remember, that's what Benghazi Gate was about. That's what Christopher Stevens was doing, running guns from Libya, which was newly toppled. The President Barack Obama toppled himself, armed those insurgents, and he was running guns through Christopher Stevens, which was the liaison, the principal liaison working for the CIA at the time. And he was running those guns through their contact, Belhaj, commander and leader of the LIFG, the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, and running those guns out of Libya, which was newly controlled by the United States, obviously, into Syria, arming Syrian insurgents, and arming Al-Qaeda, our supposed enemy, the people that we supposedly are holding in Guantanamo Bay. Now, the reason President Barack Obama was arming these insurgents and arming Al-Qaeda is because the intent is to topple the Middle East and to destabilize it, which is exactly what he successfully did in Libya. And it's exactly what the intent is for Bashar al-Assad in Syria, who's living on a warship right now because basically there's a hit on his life. People want to kill him. Our president wants to kill Bashar al-Assad, just like Muammar Gaddafi was successfully assassinated. So in terms of what we should be looking for, there's really nothing new to be looking for. Everything's already been put into place. In a certain respect, it's already over. President Barack Obama has full legislative power now through his executive actions to detain any American that they deem a terrorist. They can kill you. We've seen this with Anwar al-Awlaki. President Barack Obama did that, didn't give him a fair trial. That was a direct violation of habeas corpus and your right to be convicted by a jury. So he stomped out the Constitution there. Now that he has that in place, and now that they're using the fear card for Sandy Hook, they're confiscating guns before the threat of war and before they get to play that fear on the American people. Now remember, during wartime, people get very frightened. People get very scared. I mean, they'll let the president, they'll let their politicians do just about anything when they're frightened. I mean, just take a look at September 11th and the Patriot Act and the formation of the TSA and the Department of Homeland Security, Mr. Janet Napolitano. They'll let you get away with murder. I mean, quite literally murder, which is what Hillary Clinton, soon-to-be former Secretary of the State, was talking about in her delayed several-week testimony on Benghazi, where she faked a concussion in order to buy time so the Obama administration could get their story straight, make sure there wasn't any holes, and that it potentially wouldn't be the downfall of Barack Obama in the form of a Nixon-like Watergate. I've called it and coined it Benghazi Gate for some time. And so that's what I see coming. That's what we should be looking for, is an escalation of the same concepts and the same war that has been going on that just people don't acknowledge, or at least the mainstream don't really know is occurring in Syria, in Iran. You know, Iran came out and said, they've said multiple times over the past few months, year really, where they said any attack on Syria is an attack on Iran. So that's the game plan. Harness the fear. Now that President Barack Obama has implemented his executive actions, and now that he's also confiscating guns here in the United States, and people like Dianne Feinstein are helping Hitler, King Obama, to do just that, it really is over for America at this point. The only hope that we have is to educate as many people as possible and hope that there is a resistance. And I would hope for a peaceful resistance. I talked about in our video yesterday that this is really civil war is being fought on the internet right now. I mean, this is the new railroad. Abraham Lincoln in the North won the first Civil War because he could control the supply lines via the railroads. The same thing is happening today over and on the internet. So expect more controls and more of these measures to be implemented on the World Wide Web. It's exactly why people like Aaron Swartz, unfortunately, he committed suicide due to the pressure coming from the federal government that he was going to face up to 30 years in prison for basically looking at documents that, in my opinion, are utterly meaningless. So this is what a police state looks like. This is the police state. This is tyranny in full effect, in full force. And, you know, I'd love to hear what you guys think as well. Put your comment in the comment box below. Please continue to support us. Please consider advertising with us. You know, we need our sponsors. I need our sponsors to continue growing, to continue to do what we do. And, you know, we're working our asses off here. We're doing our best here at AMTV, myself, Topher Morrison with AMTV News, everybody that's helping us with, you know, trying to promote us and, you know, helping us with things like post-production, et cetera, and working on our independent films. In order to do that successfully, we need your help. So I need you to share what we do. I need you to donate. I need you to support us. I need small business partners and sponsors, because this is just a grassroots organization. It has been from the very beginning. And I don't do this for money. Christopher, Topher Morrison, doesn't do this for money either. We just do it because we're doing our best to fight the war on behalf of the American people, to fight this new civil war, and to counter the mainstream bullshit propaganda, which is in the best interest of the American people and is in the best interest of freedom and is in the best interest of liberty for all people, not just in the United States, but all over the world. And that's why I started this channel. That's why I started AMTV, is because I feel absolutely and completely passionate about that cause. And I think everything that we do as a result of that is worth it. But I can't do it alone. And we need your help to continue. So thank you for your support. Thank you for everybody that does donate, does sponsor our videos, and just helps with everything. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Hard-hitting and in your face as usual, I'm Christopher Green. Click that link below me. Peace.